In the name of Allah, the most compassionate, the most merciful. These very two terms, mercy and compassion, are considered as the basis for Islam. Islam has founded everything based on compassion. And the phrase, in the name of Allah, the most compassionate, the most merciful, has been repeated 100 times. And in every one of them, the term compassion and mercy have been stated. And beside this 114 times within the verses, the meaning of compassion have been stated in different forms. Consequently, Quran has emphasized this term for 100 times. Compassion is considered as the foundation of Islam and one of its important issues. And this much emphasis and frequency show the compassion as the basis for Islam. And Islam in every situation has underlined the term compassion, both in Quran, the traditions of Prophet Muhammad, and also in the traditions of Ahlul Bayt. Regarding every situations related to the family, nomads, government, regarding wife and husband, parents and children, Allah emphasized the term compassion in every aspect, situations, and in every quality. Even in the most important affairs and the most difficult issue like war, Islam underlined the term compassion. To prove this, we can refer to what Prophet Muhammad did in many wars which were imposed on him, wars in which he was the defender. Enemy came from thousands of kilometers away to wage war, to kill Prophet, and all the wars in which Prophet participated occurred near Medina. They came near Medina to wage war, and some of these wars were much close to Medina, to kill everyone, to destroy everything and everyone. And Prophet invited Muslims to defend, yet he did not let any Muslim start the battle before the enemy. Yet we know that the enemy started the war, they breached the agreement, they were the offender, they were the wrongdoer. Prophet, due to Islam's mercy and divine compassion as the foundation of Islam, did not let any Muslim start the battle. And Ali, peace be upon him, in wars which were imposed on him, in which enemy came to destroy and kill, in which he was the defender and he invited Muslims to defend, he did not let any of his companions start the battle. And also in the day of Ashura, Imam Hussein did not use his weapon against anyone. He merely picked his weapon to defend. The enemy came and surrendered Imam Hussein in Karbala. They stopped him. They stood against him in lines. Yet Imam Hussein ordered his companions not to start the battle. As he says, it would not be appropriate for us to start the battle, for they were the war wagers. He never let anyone start the battle. What a compassion this is. What a foundation this is. This compassion in war truly bring peace for the community. If the human beings understand this issue and act upon it, they will be led to the utopia. The utopia we have always been talking about in history. And Quran, Prophet, and Ahlul Bayt have not ignored the issue of compassion. And when the war was over, everything was over. And this also is unique in history. Normally, when the war is over, its consequences will be started. Once the war was over, Prophet did not let anyone harm the invaders, even their commanders. Imam Ali, peace be upon him, did the same too. When the war was over, everything was over, as if there was no war. What do you think are the characteristics of a real utopia? How do you think peace and welfare are made in society? Those who claim that they have peace and compassion in Western or non-Western society, if they refer to the real Islam stated in Quran, the one acted by Prophet and Ahlul Bayt, and if they try to act upon it, they will be led to the utopia, and the whole world would be the utopia. These 7 billion people are under any type of pressure wherever they are just because they have ignored and forgotten the word compassion. Muslims are duty-bound to let whole world know about it, and if they inform people properly and the world act upon it, the world will be filled with peace and welfare. This needs a new review. This point, that one of the most important fundamental issue in Islam, which exists in every situation, even war, is the issue of compassion. If a couple decides to treat each other with compassion, or if the parents and children try to do the same, the governor with his people, a company manager with his staff, they should try to treat each other with compassion, and no blessing would be better than this. There will be no more mental, economical, political, and social problems. And that is the utopia we are looking for. I hope God, the Almighty, gives Muslims the opportunity and the blessing of treating each other with compassion. And even when we refer to a story, both earlier or the current story, those who were the followers of Ahlul Bayt, mainly the Islamic jurists, treated people with compassion in every situation, even in the war. Let me tell you a story about late Muhammad Taghi Shirazi. England from overseas came to Iraq, that small nation with a population of 5 million people that time, a weak nation. They came to Iraq armed to invade. And late Sheikh Muhammad Taghi Shirazi did his best to prevent war. He wanted the compromise, but Englishmen did not accept and started invading and killing. And finally, late Sheikh Muhammad Taghi Shirazi had no option but to order Iraqi people to defend Islam, their families, their existence, and their homeland. Yet, even in that verdict, he, in the very first 2 lines, emphasized that if they cannot reach to a compromise to prevent war, they're not allowed to let the enemy simply kill them, and they have the right to defend. What kind of compassion this is? They, the enemy, armed to the teeth, came from 1,000 kilometers away to invade and to suppress the innocent people of Iraq. But the late Sheikh Muhammad Taghi Shirazi, the leader of the Muslims, tried not to let anyone wage war as much as he could. He, in his verdict, again emphasized on reaching to a compromise. And when the war was over, everything was over. Even late Sheikh Muhammad Taghi Shirazi himself emphasized in his verdict to treat the captives with compassion when the war was over. Yet they were the invaders, yet they started the war. What do you think is the real utopia? The utopia we have always been talking about in history. Only Quran, Prophet, his family, and their followers truly showed the real meaning of utopia. They practically showed it. I hope the whole world learn this lesson from Islam to be spared from different problems they are engaged with. May Allah bless Muhammad and his descendants.
صلى الله على محمد وآله الطاهرين.